Hi guys, welcome. And who dat? I'm Joe. Thanks for tuning in to Rosenfield 10, where I cover our beloved Bless You Boys in black and gold, the New Orleans Saints. Are you a who dat? Are you a who dat fan? If you're a who dat, subscribe to this channel. Think of me as a friend or a coworker who loves the Saints as much as you do. When you see one of my videos, I'm telling you what I think. You let me know what you think in the comments below. Today we're going to do a review of this past weekend's Week 5 NFC matchup between the New York Football Giants as they come into town, into the Caesars Superdome, New Orleans, Louisiana, and get their tails handed to them by our beloved Saints. Final score 26-14, and it shouldn't have been that close. So in this video, we're going to talk about all the great that comes with the first win of the season. We won one. It's unbelievable. We are now 1-4. But hey, you got to get the first one before you can get the second one. Can this team go on a run? It's possible. The way the team played this weekend, there's a lot of good. But, there's also a lot of bad, and I don't want to poop on anyone's parade, but we're going to be fair about the whole breakdown. So let's start with a lot of the good. After the debacle where the Giants score two touchdowns in their first two drives, and they were marching on their third drive as well, and it seemed like this game could have gotten out of hand quickly. The Giants go up 7-0 after the Saints had possessed the ball first and went three and out. So, I think the Saints won the toss, elected to receive. You had Velus Jones Jr. bring the ball out of the end zone and get tackled on the kick return at like the 9-yard line. It's awful, awful kick return to start. Doesn't really matter what you have planned for your first 15 plays scripted whenever you're backed up in your own end zone. To start the drive, we go three and out, punt it away to the Giants. They march down the field, score a touchdown. Yeah, and it feels like, oh God, here we go. Saints get the ball. We manage to scrape down the field. We have to settle for a field goal. The Giants go right back down the field and score again. It's 14-3, and it feels like our defense needs to do something. Our offense needs to do something. We managed to get back in field goal range. The score is 14-6 after we make the field goal. And that's when things started to go our way. We pretty much got the Giants off the field from there on out. The Giants end up turning the ball over on six straight possessions, five turnovers, and in their last possession was a turnover on down. So after those two touchdown drives, the Giants couldn't get anything else going. And we forced five turnovers. And when you force five turnovers, you feel like you should be running away with the game. We win the game by 12 points, and quite honestly, should have won the game by 22 points, maybe more than that. So I have some issues. I have issues with our offense in the red zone. This game we went 0 for 3 in the red zone. And, we attempted six field goals, only made four of them. So the biggest letdown of the game, of course, is Blake Groupie missing two kicks, but he made four. Now, I know we all want to get rid of Groupie. I understand that. But at the same time, we've seen Sean Payton get rid of field goal kickers quickly just to bring in another guy that's mortal. So I see a lot of people calling for coup. You would rather have Atlanta's castaway than Groupie? I mean, Groupie keeps missing kicks. He's missed one in 4 or 5 games now. He missed two this past weekend. He also made a really good tackle for a 170-pound dude. Ended up looking like a top spinning on the turf after he makes the tackle. I'm surprised he wasn't in traction after that hit. but he manages to go out there and play a little longer. On his second miss, though, toward the end of the game, he did get hit. And I'm not sure about whether he's going to be injured or not. So those of you calling for Blake Grupe's replacement, and you think it's going to be the Irish guy, Charlie Smith, he might just be a 75%, 60% kicker too. I mean, that's why we kept Grupe in training camp because Grupe wasn't missing lots of kicks like Charlie Smith. Now, we'd like to see anybody get a shot instead of Grupe. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. If he only misses five, if he makes the rest of the kicks the rest of the year, then I think we'll be okay. He turned it around. I don't know. Some of you guys might not want to be that patient. But Grupe makes that tackle on this the kickoff return. And yeah, that probably saved the touchdown. So the Saints end up scoring a touchdown in the first half, and yeah, it's 14-13 after the Rashid bomb, and we managed to get the ball back. And right before halftime, Blake Grupe kicks a field goal, and we take the lead going into half 16-14. So that was a pressure kick on Grupe. Everybody says he can't make a pressure kick. We're going into the half. If he makes the kick, we take the lead. He makes the kick. So anyway, I'm just saying, we all imagine that some other field goal kicker is going to come in here and perform better. And yeah, Grupe's not doing it right now. He's missed five kicks. That's as many as you want to miss all season. I'd say you give him a couple of more games. If he can go a couple of games without missing any, especially if he makes some clutch kicks, then maybe we were patient for a reason. So we'll see. Regardless, if he is injured, you might see somebody else kicking anyway. This is a game that I was comfortable watching the whole time. The Saints take that 16-14 lead. And then in the second half, the Giants don't score again. Like I said, they turn the ball over six straight possessions to end the game. We manage a field goal in the third quarter. We get a scoop and score touchdown on a fumble recovery. Giants could have gone up 21-19 at that point. We get the scoop and score, and instead they're down 26-14. So you got to be excited. I mean, the defense looked great. There was much better tackling in this game. I think we missed 10 tackles, but we missed tackles. Cam Scattaboo, the fire hydrant himself, coming at you. Yeah, a couple of people will bounce off of him. But what I liked is when we missed tackles, there were other Saints players there to rally, to wrap up, to make the play. A missed tackle didn't turn into a big touchdown this time around. So good rallying, which I thought showed, you know, a lot of energy on the defense. And when you're down 14-3, here we go again. A team that's 0-4, you kind of feel like they could just give up. But they didn't. They seemed determined. They seemed like they were playing for each other. That's good. Maybe the team bonding experiences in the preseason, off season, maybe that did help because these guys kind of climbed their way out of it. You pull it within, 14-6, then you get the big offensive bomb, and we're only down by one. The crowd's going crazy, and it seemed like at that point maybe there was blood in the water. The Saints found a way to win in this game. Maybe they learned how to win in this game. They learned how it feels to win, and they won on the backs of a lot of youth on this team, which was great. So let's talk about the stats because these are pretty good to go over in a post game scenario. I didn't cover the stats in the Seattle game. Here we go on offense. Spencer Rattler was 21 of 31, 225 yards and a touchdown. He was not sacked. He was pressured a ton. I believe he was pressured 17 times. And I believe Torricelli Simpkins gave up 10 of those pressures. 10 of them. And when you're pressured 17 times and you don't get sacked, that's because you're reading the rush good, you're getting out of harm's way, and you're extending the play or you're living the play another day. Rattler avoided turnovers in this game and avoided sacks. And, pretty much, I got to give him credit. He kept the offense in check. Torricelli Simpkins getting beat on 10 pressures, that's tough. Everybody wants to say he's doing great. Yeah, he's doing fine. I don't think Cesar Ruiz would have given up 10 pressures. But at the same time, I don't think Cesar Ruiz would have played a great game. Overall, you got to be excited coming away from this defensive front we were facing that was so good against the pass. Coming out of that game with 0 sacks, you got to feel really good. I give a lot of the credit to the offensive tackles. Kelvin Banks, Taliese Fuwanga did great jobs in this game. Yeah, and Eric McCoy looked good too. So Trevor Penning was okay. I'm glad he was healthy and made it through the game. But it was Rattler that got out of there. And Rattler looked fine doing that. Decent completion percentage. You hit on one big play, it sure helps with them yardages. And then no turnovers. Taysom Hill had a pass. One pass attempt, one completion, 19 yards, first down to Jawan Johnson. It was so nice to see Taysom Hill and Boston Morrow back on the field. Taysom Hill is a spark plug. He may not have provided much of a spark in this game. That was an excellent play, though. It was a duck of a pass, but he threw it underneath because the coverage was deep, where only his guy could get it. Jawan actually caught it. So there you go. Great job by Hill throwing the ball. His first game, and yeah, he's a quarterback, so look out. How about the running attack? Kendre Miller, 10 carries, 41 yards, 4.1 a carry. Solid day by Miller. Kamara had 8 carries for 27 yards, 3.4 carry. Everybody said Kamara looked a step slow. There was a couple of runs in there where it was vintage Kamara and it looked pretty good. Overall, I think the balance was just fine. You get better blocking from your offensive line and you can help these running backs out a lot. I think these running backs had to create a lot on their own. So in that situation, Miller did good. Kamara was just okay, but yeah, I'm not ready to trade Kamara just yet. Spencer Rattler ran the ball 6 times for 21 yards. That's 3.5 a carry. He ran when he had to. He got out of trouble's way a lot, and he picked up a couple of first downs. Taysom Hill, 6 carries, -1 yard. That's why our overall running numbers were bad. Because Hill had 6 carries and he manages -1 yard total. That's not what you want to see from the great Taysom Hill, who's a great runner from the quarterback position, and you hope that one of those busts. It didn't. I think you kind of sending a signal when Hill's out there. That's why the pass was completed, but the runs didn't go for much. I have to say, though, Taysom Hill did convert a couple of first downs. So regardless of losing 1 yard overall on 6 carries, he converted a couple of first downs. So running the ball, we thought we were going to do good against this Giants defense. They were bad against the run and seemed like Giants defense did a good job. They overperformed here. Our offensive line underperformed run blocking. So that's how that goes. How about receiving? Rashid Shaheed leads the team with 4 catches for 114 yards. A receiver finally breaks 100 yards. Rashid had the big touchdown, 87-yard touchdown reception. He was targeted 5 times, had 4 catches. Rashid Shaheed was probably the offensive player of the game. He also secured a 4th down catch late in the game for the Saints when we were trying to run more of the clock out, and we were able to run a lot more out because of that catch. Good job, Rashid. It was an option route, and he and Spencer Rattler were on the same page. It was perfect. You could start to see some of the teamwork click in this game, especially on the defense. And on offense, we're gonna hope to see more. Chris Olave led the team in receptions with 7 catches for 59 yards. He was targeted 11 times, had 7 catches. Oh, it's getting oof, man. I see 11 targets. I want at least 8 catches. At least 8. And we got 7. I can't gripe about Chris Olave in this game, but he gets the bulk of the targets. And he leads the team in catches. Alvin Kamara had 4 catches for 28 yards. He was targeted 6 times. He dropped 2. So that's another reason why people are down on Kamara right now. But hey, 28 yards and 4 catches is a little more production than what we were seeing in the earlier games. Juwan Johnson was targeted 4 times. He only caught 2 passes for 17 yards. I think Juwan Johnson might be hobbling around right now. I don't think he's 100% healthy. I expect Juwan Johnson to get targeted more than 4 times in a game, especially when one of them was the completion from Hill. So Devon Vele, we're going to get this guy involved sooner or later. He had 2 targets, 2 catches, 13 yards. I love it. I love it. I hope that Vele's role expands because he's the type of receiver we don't have. And if Juwan Johnson's going to struggle, we need another big body out there. I'm glad to see Vele's not hurting anymore. I'm glad to see he's getting some reps. I like his run blocking reps. I think he needs to be in the game when we're in the red zone. I think that's the way it should be. I don't think Brandon Cooks should be on the field in the red zone. It's just one of them things. No, we love you, Cooksy. Everything you do, we love. When we get in the red zone, we need big bodies. You know this. He knows this. All right. Kendre Miller had 1 catch for 8 yards, and the aforementioned Brandon Cooks. 1 target, 1 catch, 5 yards. That's your offensive stats. I am disappointed in the offense because we couldn't finish in the red zone. That's the issue. If you're going to get in the red zone, you're not going to finish. You're going to roll out a field goal kicker who's erratic right now. You're going to have problems scoring. So we were 0 for 3 in the red zone, and then our field goal kicker missed 2 kicks. So we need to fix the red zone failures. And I think a lot of that has to do with play calling. A lot of that has to do with personnel. You don't want Vele out there. Does it tip your hat? It should. The thing about having a 6'5" wide receiver is he's bigger than the other guy, and you know it, and you're going to have to do something to cover it. And our guy needs to go up and make a play. Used to be so easy when it was Jimmy Graham. Just put him out there. Yeah, man. Throw it up and see what happens. I think every red zone play should have Juwan Johnson and Devon Vele out there. And I think we should focus on running the ball quite a bit. And when Taysom Hill gets more into this offense, I expect to see a lot of Taysom Hill in the red zone as well. But other than that, at least we didn't turn the ball over on offense. So the big surprise in the game was the defense. Let's pull up the defensive stats. 5 forced turnovers, and our defense learned how to finish. They gave up a couple of touchdowns. They made some adjustments, and our defense did better. Tackling, we were pretty good overall as a team on penalties, besides that bogus roughing the passer penalty. If it weren't for that, we would have had 6 penalties for 28 yards. So 6 penalties is right around where you haven't too many penalties. But for only 28 yards, it really didn't affect the game that much. The ebb and flow of the game. We weren't getting ourselves in trouble because of penalties. That last penalty put us at 7 penalties for 43 yards. I'm sure the league's going to hear about that. It was a beautiful play by Granderson. He should be among the league leaders in sacks right now if you add that one to his total. So let's look at the stats. Pete Werner, yeah, the guy everybody wants to replace, leads the team in tackles, 11 total tackles, and he had a quarterback hit. I think Werner played a fine game. And his counterpart, Demario Davis, one of the players of the game, 10 total tackles. He had a pass defense on a deep, deep coverage that he was on. And he forced a fumble. Demario Davis. This game was a youth movement. But I got to give Demario Davis credit. That pass defense was beautiful. That's what Brandon Staley's looking for from Pete Werner in coverage. Pete Werner used to watch what Davis did on that play. Davis was 15, 20 yards down the field. I think it's insanity to expect your linebacker to cover that deep. But if this is the defense we're going to run, then Werner, take note. That's how you cover a pass. Alontae Taylor, 8 total tackles. And what I liked about Taylor was he did play on the outside a little bit, but he didn't miss any tackles. I think he may have had Cam at the ankles and somebody else came in and finished it up. Maybe he had just got out of Taylor's tackle and someone else came and wrapped him up. But yeah, there was no blatant missed tackles by Alontae Taylor. And Taylor's playing, that star role, which asks a lot of you. I want Taylor to be a big playmaker. I want him getting sacks. I want him getting interceptions. I want him defending passes. He didn't do any of that, but he secured 8 tackles. Jonas Sanker, the safety. All right, if he keeps doing it, then you have to succumb. Is he the greatest player on the defense? I still don't want to say yes. Demario Davis is a stud. I still don't want to say yes. Greatest player on the field. I'm not quite there yet. However, is he a player? Oh, yeah. Future Pro Bowler? If he keeps playing like this, how could you not? Sanker finishes the game with 7 total tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and 1 fumble recovery. Davis forces the fumble. Sanker recovers it. Sanker is all over the place. He's always around the ball, and he's all over the field. I thought he had more than 7 tackles because it seemed like every other play, Sanker was making the tackle, and it seemed like on every play, Sanker was around the ball. It makes me question this coaching staff just for a second. Hear me out. We were going to start the year with Tyrann Mathieu, Justin Reed. Matthew retires. We go get Julian Blackman, and Blackman becomes our starter. Then Blackman gets hurt after the first game. Then we decide to start Sanker. I think leading up to the season, Sanker was at a spot that was good, but I, I'm going to give the coaching staff credit on this. This is the way I'm going to give them credit. They knew how good Sanker was, but they entertained other options. Sanker at some point turned a corner, and it began to click for him. Then they decided, okay, we can do this because if Sanker's playing this good, I feel like the coaching staff should have seen it from the beginning. And if they didn't, then that would suck. But they are giving their younger players a chance. We're putting people in positions, that are proper right now. So that's how I give the coaching staff credit. Sanker turns a corner, a light bulb goes off, and then he's able to go in there and show you what he can do during the games. And look, right now, Sanker's the rookie of the year on this team. So excited about that. Yeah, I think he's developing into a fine player, possibly a future Pro Bowler. He keeps playing like this. It's amazing. All right, Carl Granderson, 6 total tackles and a quarterback hit. No sacks for Grando because of the referees calling an awful, awful, awful penalty. Just textbook form. Doesn't land on the quarterback. Falls to the side. I mean, he did everything except sing the dude a lullaby before he knocked him out, and the ref still throw a penalty. So, but Grando, great job. I should have a sack here with an asterisk, but Chris Rump, the backup edge rusher, once again getting involved. 5 total tackles and a quarterback hit. He also had 4 pressures. Those pressure numbers don't pop up all the time. You kind of have to do some investigating. Uh, 4 pressures from a backup edge. Yeah, he didn't get a pass defensed in this game, but 5 total tackles. Great job, Rump. What a find. That's a guy. We keep him around. He's the coach's kid. That's what we're going to call him. and there's a place for him. Jordan Howden, okay, the safety. Jordan Howden is a fine player. He's a solid player. Fifth round pick. He had a decent rookie year. He struggled last year. This year, in the offseason, he made a couple of plays, and I thought that's what's missing from Howden's game. He's just not a playmaker. And if you go out there and you just do okay, but you don't have any wow plays, and then let's say you give up a couple of catches, then yeah, people are going to look negatively at you. But Howden, playmaker today, he has it in him. I don't know if he's a playmaker week in and week out, but he has it in him. And I'm excited because we needed him. I mean, they think Justin Reed's going to be a decent starter. They keep putting that guy out there. He's making over $10 million a year, and he keeps getting beat. Now, he got a concussion and had to leave in the first quarter. But yeah, he gave up one of them touches. He was around the ball receiver when the first or second touchdown was scored. I don't want to say it was Reed's fault, but Reed hasn't made any plays. He registered one tackle in this game before getting concussed. And then Howden has to jump in. And then Howden has this great game, four total tackles. He recovers the fumble, brilliantly punched out by Brissy, and he returns it all the way for a touchdown, pretty much the length of the field. Jordan Howden had one of those four tackles he had was against Scattaboo, where he kept the angle perfect on the tackle. Scattaboo couldn't, he was on the sideline. Scattaboo couldn't cut it back upfield. He was forced to hug the sideline because of Howden's positioning. And then Howden finished with the tackle, knocks them out of bounds. When I saw that play, I said, Howden's playing a good game today. If he's going to tackle like that, one on one with Cam Scattaboo, yeah, good job. And then he has to scoop and score. Great job by Howden. Kool-Aid McKinstry, how about it? I've been saying all year long, Kool-Aid McKinstry is good against smaller, fast receivers. We've seen this. That's when he plays good. When he has to go up against a bigger guy, and I'm kind of nervous about these two games with Tampa Bay coming up in the near future with Mike Evans. Kind of nervous about that. We saw Kool-Aid struggle against Marvin Harrison in the first game. We saw him struggle against Cortland Sutton in the preseason. So we know a big, strong wide receiver is going to give Kool-Aid a problem. But if you roll out Jalen Hyatt and Wandale Robinson, Darius Slayton, the only guy with size you have out there besides the tight end. So Kool-Aid gets burnt by the tight end, Theo Johnson, in one of those first two touchdowns. But Kool-Aid makes up for it. He has a pass defense later on in the end zone against Theo Johnson, and that's what I want to see. The Saints made an adjustment. They figured out how to take the tight end out of the game. The wide receivers couldn't bail. Jackson dart out. And when they finally go back to Theo, he's not going to beat Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid's not going to get burned again. Kool-Aid's going to make the play. Kool-Aid was a great, probably player of the game. Four total tackles, three passes defense, two interceptions. The first interception, yeah, it's fourth down. If he doesn't catch it, we get the ball with 30 yards more of field possession. I didn't care about that one bit. I wanted Kool-Aid to get his first interception. I wanted this team to get a turnover. Yeah, so you start the drive at the 15 instead of the 40. Whatever, you're winning. You just stop the team. Kool-Aid needed that interception. I had no problem with that at all. Then the second interception, just a thing of beauty again. But maybe my favorite play by Kool-Aid McKinstry was when Howden was returning that fumble. Because Kool-Aid saw Howden scoop it up, and Kool-Aid took off running downfield with Howden. And he kept one of those wide receivers blocked the entire time. And it kept that guy from catching up with Howden. Howden's not a speed demon. Whichever one of these wide receivers Kool-Aid was blocking definitely was faster than Howden. And that's how you win a football game and score a defensive touchdown. When your cornerback is selflessly running down the field, blocking the entire time so your buddy can get a touchdown. That's how this works. On the other side of the field, I didn't see who it was, but somebody else was blocking to make this touchdown work. Beautiful job. Kool-Aid, when I saw that, I thought Kool-Aid's what a teammate. That's a guy I want on my team. Oh, yeah. All right. Nathan Shepard, four total tackles. Fine. I didn't think our defense was very good against the run in this game, so I'm not going to be harping on the run stops. But the defensive line was way better at creating pressures in this game. I think Shepard may have had two or three pressures in this game. Cam Jordan had three total tackles, a quarterback hit, and of course a fumble recovery. That was the one gifted to us when Jackson Dart just dropped the ball. I think he saw Cam Jordan and then kind of like wasn't sure where to position the ball at that point. He drops it, Cam picks it up, Cam falls on it. But what's not shown on the stats here, and what I have to mention, Cam Jordan had five total pressures in the game. When you get four pressures from Rump, five pressures from Jordan, yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. We can convert pressures to sacks this year. We just need to get up the pressures. Will Chase Young finally play some football for this team? I don't know. Jonathan Bullard had two total tackles. Justin Reed had his tackle. Quincy Riley had one tackle and one pass defense. Pass defense was a thing of beauty. And the reason why Riley only had one tackle is because he started the game as a rookie at cornerback and he shut every wide receiver down that he faced. Jalen Hyatt, whoever else that Riley had to go up against, they didn't have a chance. It's a great game by Riley. You get your first start. He played a lot last week. You get your first start this week, and you go out there and shut everybody down. Now, if Isaac Yadam comes back from injury and we start him ahead of Quincy Riley, I'm going to be upset at this coaching staff because Isaac Yadam has not been a playmaker. Isaac Yadam has had four, five, six tackles every game because he's allowing receptions. That stat line for Quincy Riley right there is beautiful. One tackle, one pass defense. That means they couldn't even go at him. And I love it. Brian Bresee. All right. This was the game for Brian Bresee. I noticed his run fits were fine a couple of times. You know, the stat line is wild. One tackle for a loss, one pass defense, one quarterback hit, one forced fumble. The spin move was working. Like I say, I thought Brzee had, it felt like he had 10 pressures. One of the first stats I looked up after the game was how many quarterback pressures did Brian Brzee have? Because it felt like he was affecting every play. And that's what I wanted to see from him as a pass rusher. I think he only had three pressures. But man, he affected every single one of those plays he affected. The pass defense was beautiful, and then the forced fumble. Oh my goodness. Great punch out. If the Giants go in and score right there, this game's turned on its head again. You get a lot of air let out of the balloon. But instead, Bresee makes a play, and he needs to keep making plays. And Bresee is one of the players of the game for me. And last but not least, I'm going to mention Terrell Burgess, who had a tackle and a pass defense. And we all know that pass defense was on the flea flicker. Burgess had to cover 30 yards of ground from the time the ball was released from the quarterback's hands till the time he was there to break the pass up. I mean, it was a great play by Burgess, contained, calm. He didn't get a penalty. He didn't give up on the play. Seemed like the only one that knew what was going on. Everybody got fooled, but Burgess figured it out. Gets down there, thanks to a bad underthrown pass by Dart. Burgess is able to make a play. Even Jordan Howden said that was the play of the game. That's what turned the whole game around. And it's true. It's true. The Giants get that touchdown, that wide open touchdown, because that dude's scoring, walking in by himself. They get that touchdown. It's just more of the same. But instead, you have people making plays. I'm also going to mention Leota, Groupie, and Stallbird. Leota, yeah, he's a guy that we have on our practice squad. I don't know a lot about him, but he got called up. He makes a special teams tackle. Stallbird makes a special teams tackle. And of course, Blake Groupie makes a special teams tackle. All right, there you go. Defense. Wow. Force 5 turnovers, and then our offense doesn't turn the ball over. You get that, you should be winning, running away. A couple of years ago, we did that against Chicago, the Tyson Bagent game. We had 3 interceptions, two fumble recoveries, and we didn't turn the ball over in that game either. It was 5-0 turnover ratio, just like today, except we only scored 24 points in that game, and in this game we only scored 26. So yeah, oh man, I can't wait for this offense to figure it out. Maybe we're missing too many pieces. But what I loved about this team was the character. To be a losing team, 0-4, everyone thinks you're the worst team in the league. You're down 14-3 right out of the gate, but you keep fighting. That's determination. The team is attacking. They seem focused and they seem motivated. They seem motivated to play for each other. And now that you've got a taste of success under both these systems, then you can buy in a little more. What do they call it? Proof by whatever. They've been saying it all week long. Yeah, we needed to go out there and do it. And then now that you've got success, you can feel like we can keep doing this. So are we going to start ripping off a bunch of wins now that we've beaten the hapless New York football giants and a rookie quarterback that didn't look very good? I don't know. It's possible. We were in 3 of the 4 games leading up to this game. We were competitive. The ball bounces our way a couple of times. Maybe we win 1 or 2 of those. If we eliminate the mistakes, maybe we win a couple of those. Cash in. So this team isn't ready to finish just yet, not the offense. When you go 0 for 3 in the red zone and you miss 2 field goals, then your offense is not ready to finish. When you win the turnover battle 5-0 and you only win by 12 points, the offense isn't ready to finish. But the defense finished. And I got to give them credit. Now, can they keep this up? I don't think you can force 5 turnovers every game, but I think you can play harder. I think you can force them to punt the ball. We need to work on our run defense, and that's the biggest problem I have with the defense right now is stopping the running attack. I mean, we look pretty crappy in pass defense sometimes. There were some plays that were open, and because of the pressure rate, Jackson Dart didn't have the chance to find it. But there were some open receivers. I'm still questionable about our pass defense, but you get pressure from your line, and then you get playmaking from your back end, and then all of a sudden the spin don't break stuff doesn't bother me as much. Forcing turnovers is the key. On offense, you got to finish, man. You can't miss field goals. You got to score in the red zone. So overall, let's talk about these numbers before we're done here. Third down, we held the Giants to 3 of 10 on third down. That's great. I hope we can do that the rest of the year. We needed that. The problem is the Giants went for it on fourth down 5 times. They actually converted 3 of them. So, we got to get those fourth down conversions. The Saints offense on third down was 7 out of 15. That's almost 50%, and that's probably the best rate we've had all year. So we're getting better on third down on offense. On fourth down, we were 1-1. That pass to Rashid. In the red zone, we allowed the Giants to score 2 touchdowns in their 4 red zone trips. So, yeah, that's how you fall down 14-0 so early. Got to improve the red zone defense. Got to improve the red zone offense. And penalties, of course, the referees were crazy. The Saints finished with 7 penalties for 43 yards. The Giants finished with 8 penalties for 95 yards. And there's the Cajun Cannon saying right there. If a team gets 95 yards in penalties, you might as well just give them a touchdown. Give the other team a touchdown. So they give up 95 yards, give us a touchdown. We only win by 12. Yeah, too close, too close for comfort. Offense needs to finish. And that's what I'm looking for the rest of the season. I'm looking for the defense to remain consistent. You can be lights out one game and then be iffy, and that's not good. I need a little more consistency. We need to look like we did against Arizona and like we did this past week. Our defense wasn't so bad against San Fran either. We can't be hot and cold. If we're going to be cold, we need to be lukewarm. And we need to keep getting hot. I don't know. The defense looked excited. They looked pumped. And it was a lot of youth that made this game happen the way it did. The players of the game to me are all on defense. I got to give a shout out to Rashid Shaheed on offense, of course. And Spencer Rattler getting his first win. That's great. Not turning the ball over, that is outstanding. But the players of the game to me, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Jordan Howden, Brian Brissy, Quincy Riley, Jonas Sanker. Look at that group of young guys right there. And the Godfather himself, Demario Davis. Yeah, Davis taking care of this defense at the linebacker position, watching these young people, teaching these young people how to play. I love watching these young guys win a game. Now you know what it's like to win. You did that, guys. Y'all did that, and you can keep doing that. So let's see if it happens. We've got the New England Patriots coming into town this weekend. Subscribe to Rosenville 10. I will be doing a preview of that game on Thursday. I'll have another video coming out on Thursday as well. And then we'll review and recap the Patriots game next week. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Joe. And until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Who dat?